One. Okay, hello, Avatar fans. I'm MrBKainX from the Avatar Wan Facebook page, and I'm joined by...
BH here, the other.
And Cliffjumper.
And we are here to start our episodic review of the entire Avatar series, starting with, of course, Episode 1, The Boy in the Iceberg. We just watched it together. Who wants to start?
I'll go last, I guess.
Oh, you want to go last? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start off by saying I think this is definitely a really good start to the show. I think you often forget how much information they tell the audience in a very quick amount of time, but it doesn't feel like they're overloading you at all. They show you bending in the opening. They tell you about the war, about how the Avatar bends four elements, that the Avatar's been gone forever, that the Fire Nation is close to victory, all that, and that the Water Tribe men have left. All that stuff right very quickly in the episode. And then just even from there, you start learning they don't take a lot of time to tell you, but you get introduced to the hybrid animals with the zebra seal, and then you get the sky bison, who's this huge fantasy creature, and we very quickly see water bending and the effects it can have. So it's just amazing to me that none of it feels like you're being shoved a bunch of information. It feels like a very natural presentation of somebody telling you this story. I will say it's not the.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to say something?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I thought it was a really, really good episode. It's probably not one of my favorites in the entire scheme of things, but as a first episode, it's basically perfect. I think what I love most about it is just how simple it is. It's just focusing on Aang and Katara and Sokka. It's just them. There's no really complex things going on. It's just kind of them meeting each other, and just having kind of the Zuko part of it where it's just him and his uncle kind of just interacting. And I really like that. It's very, very simple opening, but yet it has this really to it, which I find really, really fascinating, and just really it makes it just such a better episode. If it was more this character going here, this character going there, it'd be too much to handle. But the fact that it's just so focused on these three or four, counting Zuko, characters, it makes it so much better.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, wait. Is it my turn?
Oh, yeah, sure. Go. Go.
Sort of.
All right. I pretty much agree with both what B. Kane and BH said. I also have to give props to the animation here. And when we were watching, my God, man, the animation is just really, really good in these episodes, or in this episode and the next. But I also have to give props to the person who did the key animation, because I know who did it. It's Ki-hyun Ryu, and he went to be a director to work on Legend of Korra, which is why the animation looks so damn good in this episode. But yeah, I pretty much agree with everything that was already said. It really does a great job of focusing on the characters. And it does a great job of showing how likable they are. Because I know every time I watch this episode, there's a lot of ways that you can introduce your characters, but they make these characters kind of put a smile on your face. The jokes are funny. And when you have an episode like that, an introductory episode that's just focusing on likable characters, it makes later when you're watching the show it that much more important when bad stuff happens to them, because you're so used to seeing them so happy and lighthearted at times, and then when the bad stuff happens, it hits so much harder. And I think that's a really good strength that the show has, especially
Yeah, just how childish Aang really is.
Is very naive.
Yeah, very naive, very, very immature, and it's not in a bad way. It's not saying he's
it's not unlikable.
He's just like a little kid, He just wants to have fun. and I think
and the voice acting really helps too.
Zach Tyler does a fantastic job as Aang. I know that voice is now gone. I don't know what happened to him, but he does.
He went to college or something.
Yeah, he went to college. Yeah.
Yeah. The way you said it, I was like, he's not dead. He's just not acting anymore.
No, he didn't die. No,
he majored in communications.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I didn't know Zach Tyler but yeah, Aang's voice, obviously Zach, the son as Sokka is great, and of course Dante Bosco as Prince Zuko.
Yeah, when speaking of Jack the Son, I remember like before this show aired, I knew him from All That because he would be on All That every now and then. He may have been on like every episode as like a cast member. I remember like him being really funny, and he was kind of like, you know how Andy Samberg from Saturday Night Live is? He was kind of like the Andy Samberg of All That when I was a young kid. So like when I heard his voice in the show when I first saw it air, and I knew it was him, and I think that I knew because maybe before the episodes even came out, before the show aired, Jack would like promote the show. I think I remember something like that. It was more than 12 years ago. It's been a while, but like he's hilarious, and it's kind of amazing how almost everything that he says sounds funny without him trying to be funny, and I think that really helps with just his character so much. And when he can be serious, he does sound serious. It's just that like sometimes just like when like in the first episode here, like he says like he's kidding, right? And like the penguin, the otter penguin, and like he didn't say it in a funny way, but the way he said it sounded funny. Like it's just his delivery, and he's just such a great voice for the character.
Yeah. And of course, shout out to Mae Whitman as
definitely.
Yeah.
She only gets better and better. Like, not that she gets better, but like she gets much better content later in the
there's
show.
some really amazing stuff later on.
Oh yeah, especially book 3.
Book 3, yeah. The opener of that.
And to sort of go back to a point Brett was making, in this episode, it's like many great fantasy stories, instead of like putting us in like the heat of the battle or like a huge Earth Kingdom city or something, we start at like, it's a beautiful place. They like pan over it nice, but we're in Antarctica basically. We're in the South Pole.
Yeah, we're in peasant lands.
We're in this tiny little. She's like Aang, entire village Aang. It's just like a couple people.
And it makes you feel bad too, because it's like when you find out more in the show, like later, and you look back at that moment where you see just a group of basically peasants. It makes you kind of upset, and you're like, oh, damn, man. Like, they must have lost a lot of family members, and they must have had a lot of people leave to go into war. And, like, it makes you really feel like, damn, man, war's a bitch. And the show does a really great job of that throughout the entire show, really.
Yeah. Also, like, hinting at how Aang is the last of the airbenders, and Katara is basically the last waterbender in the entire...
Pretty much.
South Pole, yeah. Or that's not, in the Fire Nation.
Not in the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a long while.
Yeah. In a while, yeah. But, it's a nice little tie-in.
That's an episode I'm going to be talking about. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Just a really good start. And
it's
really
start.
Soft, but it's just, you need that.
Yeah.
You need that for this type of shit.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I will say, though, that anytime I would sort of recommend this show to someone, theoretically, or just say to start here, they aired this together with Avatar Returns, which I think was a good move on their part. And I would also recommend, like, anybody that wants to give the show a chance, watches the first 3 episodes.
Agreed.
Because I think that's a good way.
You.
Not to knock on the first 2 episodes, but I think with the third episode, you really get an idea of like what this show is going to be. I don't want to give away what we're going to say in the episode 3 review.
Yeah.
But I think these 2 episodes are a good start, but the third series really sort of kicks things into gear.
Yeah.
And they work well together as like
it
somewhat
starts a lot of the arcs.
Somewhat of a trilogy of all 3 episodes introducing a lot of stuff and somewhat setting like different plot lines for the show. I mean, the first 2 sort of introduce basic concepts of the show and that they're heading to the Northern Water Tribe, and then the third gives you more background, and then introducing Zhao gives you a bit more about like how the first season is going to go, just as one season.
Yeah. There's also something like I think is worthy to mention here is that like a lot of shows, and you know, it's really the live action shows like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones and stuff like that. They're like 45 minutes to like a 50-minute episode, so like they have a lot of time to get a lot of introductory stuff out just in one episode. And the adults and whoever's going to be watching those shows know that those episodes are 1 hour, so they're going to give the full attention to that hour. They're not just going to watch 23 minutes and just cut out. But like the thing about this show that's really awesome is that, you know, not the only cartoon or animated show to ever do this, but it is, in my opinion, the only one that ever did it this good. Is that it squeezes so much information into just 23 minutes, and it doesn't ever feel rushed. I don't know how they did it. They do a lot of showing and not telling. They have a lot of really great nuanced dialogue that tells you who the characters are just through dialogue without having somebody explain who they are. And it's, I don't know, it's just, to me, like, that's just a huge boon that the show has that, like, a lot of other shows don't have. Like, you know, Doug Walker, at one point, I think it was in his first vlog for this show, he said that, like, this episode didn't grab me, but then I realized, you know, like Game of Thrones, they had an hour to grab you. And
Yeah.
I agree with him. And it's just, like, isn't that amazing that, like, in this short amount of time, it's able to do all this stuff while also having good music, good animation, and all that stuff. Just, I don't know. It's just, I think that's just definitely worth mentioning.
And you know what adds up to an hour? About the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So
three
exactly.
episodes, yeah. The first 3, yeah. Totally.
Yeah, and I guess
totally
one
agree
thing
with, Cliffjumper.
I should note, there's some humor in this episode, and most of the humor I really like. Like a lot of the witty dialogue, especially like from Sokka just getting frustrated with people, is great to see.
The flying sister line.
There's a couple sort of like bathroom humor type stuff with like the little kids, which not that I hate, just don't find as funny as some of the other humor, I'll say. And there's still some of that in the rest of the series. But we don't see too much of that in the show, especially in comparison to the other types of humor.
Yeah, like, you don't see it much, but, like, it's there. It's not, like, it doesn't bother me, though, because it's just, like, it's toned down so much. Like when Aang comes out of the, like, igloo thing, and he's like, wow, everything freezes in there. It's, like, to me, that's funny. Like, that's just, like, as a kid. Like, he's a kid, and just the way he said it, and all the kids start laughing, and Sokka's like, ugh, get him out of here. He's so gross. Like, I love that. I love that stuff. It doesn't have, like, Aang farting or something like that. Like, it's not immature. It's just kind of like, there's a potty joke, but it's actually funny.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's just my point of view.
We don't get fart bending.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a long while.
But they're very fast-paced, the jokes, so it's not like it's taking too much time away from the story or anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's just, and then we get towards the end of the episode. We get to hear that Katara's the only waterbender in the tribe, and then we get to, like, I don't know, just almost one of the, like, the coolest images of a place from a show. It's like this crashed Fire Navy ship that we later find out how it got that way. That's just like this wreck and like this almost like forbidden place. Like, can you imagine?
It's like an abandoned building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can you imagine, like, your home is attacked by these invading armies, and then just, like, one of their, essentially, vehicles and machines of war gets trapped near your home, and it's like, you don't even want to think about that. You certainly don't want your kids going near there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So it's just almost a disturbing image.
You said something about, like you just said Fire Navy, and that just reminded me of a line in this episode where, like Aang doesn't know anything about the war at this point, but, like, when he gets out of the iceberg, Katara's like, I think she says something, oh yeah, he's oh no, Sokka says, did you see that crazy bolt of light? It's probably a signal for the Fire Navy, and just, like, I don't know, just that, something about that line, at least for me, just adds so much realism to the situation. Like, he's just talking about, like, the Fire Navy. Like, there's a navy involved, and there's this war that, like, the main character doesn't know about, and just, I don't know, it just feels so lived in to me. Like, we're just little lines like that. Like, it's just like, no, did you see that crazy bolt of light? He was probably trying to signal the Fire Navy. And it's like, whoa, what the fuck's the Fire Navy?
Yeah,
like,
it's
what's going on here?
Played up for a bit of a joke.
I love that.
It's like, this guy's like, his home in his lifetime has been attacked by this other nation's army. And it's like, obviously it turns out to be an ally, actually, but you never know if something like this could be the sign of another attack. And just to bounce back to that part, it's like, the part where Aang comes out of the iceberg, talk about, like, a powerful imagery for a kid's show.
Yeah, it's really sick.
I remember watching it, like, watching this episode, these first two for the first time ever, and I was like, dude, this looks like, to me, like, back then, I couldn't tell, like, subtle nuances, but, like, at the time, I was like, this kind of looks like a Disney movie. Like, the animation's, like, really good. I didn't know what this meant, but, like, I do now. The directing was really good and stuff like that. And the background paintings were really detailed. And, I'm just floored by this whole first episode. It really did look like they were just, at least from a visual standpoint, just they were bringing their guns blazing. Like, it looks good. Like, it's really, it's a little tiny, super teensy-weensy bit dated compared to, like, something to say The Legend of Korra, but it still looks leaps and bounds better than stuff that's even from Japan. Like, it looks really, really good. Great character animation.
Yeah.
That's pretty much everything I have to say about this.
Oh, I mean, well, one thing we didn't really address is after they're in the Fire Nation ship and he starts talking more to Katara about the war, and it's like, you probably weren't in that iceberg for a couple of days. It might have been a whole 100 years. And then he just sort of, like, sits down as it hits him. It's like 100 years and a war's going on between nations that were once friendly in my time. And that's just, I mean, it's till episode 3, not to keep referencing it, that he really has to address the full thing of, like, basically everyone I knew is dead, with, like, one exception.
And it doesn't, like, hammer it in, like, it never really hammers it in too much, like, it'll have moments for, like, later in the show where, like Aang's, he's reminiscing or, like, feeling really bad, or he's meditating on his culture that's been wiped out, but, like, it never says, like, he never says, like, wow, everybody is dead, all my friends are dead, and this and this and that. And I think that's really smart writing, is that, like, it lets the audience feel it. It lets them feel that everyone's dead. Like, it doesn't have to have a character go, oh my god, everybody's dead. My entire culture was destroyed by the Fire Nation, the bad guys. Like, it never has a line like that. It's just, it lets you know. Just through the situation. That's pretty much everything I have to say about the first episode. I just want to watch more.
Yes. Also, just how, like, demonic Aang looks when he's, like, in the Avatar state is really, really cool. It's really scary. Like, you don't know what this thing is, and it's just like, it looks like monster.
I just love. All right, this is one little thing I have to say. I love the image of Aang in the iceberg. Like he's in the lotus stance, the lotus position, and like he has his fists together and everything's glowing, and just I think that image is just so iconic. Like there's just this big white and blue ball of ice, and there's just this little monk inside. Like I love that. I love all things like that. All right, let's move on.
Oh wait, one more thing I want to note is
opener.
Wanted to talk a bit more about Zuko and the fact that like we get introduced to the purpose of his character in this episode, that he has to hunt the Avatar, and that the 3 generations before him, his father, grandfather, great-grandfather, have all hunted for the Avatar as well, and that even though he thinks that he could possibly be going up against like 100-plus-year-old man that has mastered all the elements, and he's a powerful firebender, but not as great as he will be eventually. How crazy it is that
it's a death wish.
Yeah.
And also just how like bending works in a sense, like it comes from like the breath. It's not just like this show of like muscular, strength. It's like very specific.
There's a discipline.
Very disciplined.
It's just like real martial arts. And
it's like a real martial art form.
Even this early on, they try and root it more in spirituality, the natural world, and martial arts, rather than just like, oh, this is a superhero show, and some people can shoot fire, and some people can shoot water. It's an extension of the his fire level is over 9,000.
Yes, breaks
9,000. Well, thanks for watching. That's a review of episode 1. Shortly after, we will have the review of the next episode, and then episode 3. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like the page and all that good stuff.